everybody. My name is Lucian. I'm with Oranje 44. Please excuse my disheveled appearance. I've been fighting a migraine that is, yeah, it's been bad. Um, I wanted to come on today and do an update video on all things DCF and Crunch AI. Basically, all the studio, what's going on. I have a feeling that I need to document my information right now. Okay, so DCF is back to a point where we have the new AAMS Action Adventure Motion System is reworked back in, and so we are running pretty nicely now. Couple little things that we need to work through, but this allows us to be able to jump into offering. Hold on one second here. All right, so with AAMS now reintegrated, we can start moving forward again with the other elements. AAMS is kind of a core element, and so anytime we were messing with it, we had to kind of stop everything else. So we're back up to the point now where we can start diversifying and jumping off into different realms. We have some new stuff in the drag race verse already. We have a new oval type track in there, as well as the other stuff. We're also working on a light system for the drag races and stuff like that. So that'll be coming soon. And yeah, okay. So in that sense, DCF is now at a point where there was a point about a month ago where I went back into AI development, and I thought that that would take a lot longer. We're now coming back out of AI development and back into DCF development, and now DCF development is coupled with AI development, so it's moving a lot quicker. But basically, the Studio AI, we after the new year, we had made a bid to make it a local box on a 5060 Ti 16 gig. And actually went through multiple revisions. Now it is a 5060 Ti gig, or 16 gig. Excuse me. Um, it is running Olama with Gemma 4B, which is the new Gemma 4, or excuse me, E4B, Gemma 4 E4B, which is the new Gemma model. But again, Crunch is architectured so that we can swap out brains as better ones come out, although Gemma 4 is quite impressive. And so what that does is that's now taken that entire AI that used to be up in the cloud and all those data and training layers, and we've moved it down into what we call Crunch Core, and that's the one that runs the whole studio. As we were going along, we started to realize, okay, well, Crunch Core is actually overpowered for Node and what Node needs to do, which is run a headless server and talk on a Discord server, is all it basically does. So it needed a less aggressive model. So we actually then piped out and developed our node model onto 1070i 8 gig. So we know that it runs at a very low clip, and it's on an Gemma 4 E2B model. And that one works very nicely. And so what that does is gives you that AI in your local verse, and they can, manipulate it at time. Then that AI can also join Discord, and then from the Discord. So in our cases for the studio, we have basic ones set up for our studio verses, which are obviously we have the studio one. And you can actually see Crunches is in there already. And you can actually talk to her in here. But if you're trying to get a certain verse to develop a certain thing, the best way to do it is to go into that versus server and talk to that versus AI, because it'll know what's going on with its universe and what its limitations are better than what Crunch will. Crunch is on the overall thing, and so it's more for us developers that are involved in Orange 44 to deal with. But also, Crunch here, as this bot, can also talk to the Versus bots. This is where they talk, is on Discord. And so your verse, if you were to run a verse like a headless server with an AI client on it, that's what we'd call a verse, and then that would then be able to connect through Discord into here and have conversations about its evolution and what it can use and updates and things like that. So it's kind of a whole ecosystem. Now we have the tail verse, the fang verse, Verheid's verse, and the rat verse, or water rat cove. And those four verses are the ones in the studio. Then Stone out of the Netherlands is running the CTM drag racing verse, which is a drag racing verse, and it's got a whole icon in the game already and stuff like that. So that one's probably the first long verse out of all of them. But in the next couple weeks, that will definitely change as these AIs slot into place. Then um, they're basically, so the like I say, the main one is already in our main channel. So Crunch AI is in our main channel, and on and off depending on where the machine is at that point. We're going through a major retraining with Crunch AI today, so it'll probably not be online soon. Well, I mean, yeah, actually, I shouldn't say that. This stuff goes so quick. Anyway, this is where Crunch AI lives, and in the Orange 44 channel, in chat is where you can talk to her, and just ack her. But like I say, all the other ones will eventually also have an AI that lives in that channel and is able to interact with it, and at real time in the verse too. So if you're in the game, and you say to the chat channel, this is one way to interact with the AI, is through the Discord chat channel. It's basically the verse interaction. And then eventually there'll be I believe that Stone is creating a Discord server for CTM drag racing verse. So there'll be one for that. And again, anybody that creates a verse, because the tool set is open, anybody that creates a verse could follow the same path. They could go a different way if they wanted, but our AI models are stacked this way, and they'll be released this way, so that you'll have a universe, an Unreal universe, that you can actually have an AI inside of. That's the overall goal of DCF. Okay, I wanted to start out with DCF and its architecture. So it starts out with Unreal 5.6.1 Source Engine. And what Source allows us to do is to have a headless compile out of the same build. It also, all your plugin support becomes local. All the render and shader support becomes local. So it's a way to take Unreal, and in the Unreal shell that you see out there, that's kind of the retail shell, and it has a lot of dependencies that are online, where the source is completely self-contained and right here, modifiable by us. Then up the pipe from that, we have what we call the world layer. So the source layer is Unreal 5.6 with a bunch of different plugins that are all worked in to give it fully functionality of that. But then the next layer is the world layer. And that's basically a voxel continent in an ocean, that you can entirely granularly change through terraforming, and building on and doing whatever you want on there. And that world layer is persistent. It can save, and be shared on Workshop, right? Okay. Now, from that source side, we also are able to take in files from the outside, so models, textures, and sounds, and bring them in into an import wizard, and then also put those on Workshop. So build pieces, statues, anything you really can think of could also be brought in as well, side loaded. It's built to side load from its native architecture. All right, so you have a terraformable world, and basically you can replace every part, whether it be the plants or the ground. All of those things you can replace with your own custom pieces. On the other end of the game side of it, you have the pillar, or you have the access layer, and I'll just drop my video out here. So the access layer has three different pillars to it. You have the player mode, which is I'll go into here in a bit and show you, but it's basically the whole you know, player mode. The human player comes into the game world, and it's a game world like any other, you know, game world out there. Then you have node mode. Node mode is a local AI model that is then strapped to the headless server of that world. And so you're able to get in there. And then the last layer of access is what we call the media tower mode. This is going to be kind of a thin client with no UI on it. So you get a camera view of the verse, and that camera is completely controllable by the node AI. So you can kind of have a cinematographer in your game while you're in there, and you can take that feed and pipe it into OBS and stream it or record it or do whatever you want with it. So, and then the media tower has some other things like ghost replay and things like that in it as well. But that's the core of it, right? Is you have the player version, that's where you play the game. Then you have node, that's how the AI controls the whole universe around you. And then media tower is the kind of the broadcast element of it. And then it says 0 restart for no import. So let's jump in really quick. I'm going to show off all this stuff in the actual live version on Steam. There's an update coming soon that will have a lot of different updates and things. And again, for recording purposes, my resolution is set to low. All right, so I'm just going to go into a basic verse. You have different verses here, and you can visit a verse. We'll hop into build a verse here really quickly. Okay, I'm just going to go into the default map. Okay, so you start out here in a default map. You have the verse gate, which is backspace, and this gives you control over the universe around you. So you can change the weather, you can change the time, you can spawn things in, teleport things in, do server messages, things like that. Okay. From there, you also have H, which will bring up your terraformer. Now you can terraform the landscape and change it any way you want. DCF has a really cool zoom in it, so you can zoom. And I'm digging. That's why here. Okay, so you can see I can dig, and then I can save this map too and load onto it later. All right, so the game also has a building system in it, and that allows you to build like you would in most building games, and you can has a little bit different angles for different things. But the idea here is that these pieces will eventually be swappable, so you'll be able to kind of put in whatever you'd like and build out whatever you want based on that. All right, so real quick, I'm going to go into the bench and show this is where you would upload a map. And then once you've uploaded your map, they'll actually show up right here in the workshop. And so you can see them in the Steam workshop. You can see some of our maps are in there already, and you can download them and look at them in the game already. But basically, these are the map files. But this is the exact same system that it's using for model import. Well, the import is different, but the upload is the same system that it's using for model upload, texture upload, and sound upload. The model import, texture import, and sound import is done by a separate plugin. But that's able to convert it into a .save file and extensions to that. And so we can put it straight up onto the Steam Workshop, and you can have models, sounds, and everything individually on the workshop, and then recombobulate it back on your world. So like if I go back in, and if I like if I load Water Rat Cove, that's just loading the shell of Water Rat Cove. Now right here is where I'm loading the map off of Workshop. And if I load that now, you'll see I'm actually in a cave, and that's, I didn't realize it was going to give me that start location. Sorry about that. But yeah, you can see the whole map is different here for Water Rat Cove than the standard one, because it's already got one built on it. All right, so just a quick breakdown of Crunch AI. We have the Cloud Advisor. I'll start over here on this side. The Cloud Advisor is the historical echo. It loves giving kind of fancy names to all this stuff. But the Cloud Advisor basically is the old cloud models that we used in the past. And those like Grok and OpenAI and things like that. And what we've done now is we've taken all the training data from those models and we've moved it down into Crunch Core, which is our studio brain. And this one runs locally on a 5060 Ti. Nothing super special. I can probably show you a picture. In fact, I'll show you a picture here. Anyway, like you see, it's nothing amazing. It's a normal retail card that runs Crunch Core. Now, Crunch Core is the entire studio AI, and it encompasses everything. Now, then we have a smaller AI version of the same architecture. So what we've done is we've taken Crunch Core and we've trained her even. We've put blinders on her even more and made her a node AI, is what we call it. Node, or Crunch Node, is a headless Unreal server with that persistent world from DCF on there, and I'll go through a DCF update here in a minute, or a DCF overall in a minute. But the Node AI, it lives in that DCF verse through the headless server, and it can communicate through Discord, and it can also communicate through the game engine itself. Now, that one is running currently in our studio on a 1070i with 8 gigs on Gemma 4 E2B, and it is working quite nicely at this level. But we think that other models will probably, especially as something called Quant comes out, will probably kind of upset the order. So everything again in Crunch, from core to node, is built modular, so it uses an Ollama backend, and so we can swap out the brain anytime. So if you were to have a node that had a little bit better graphics card in there and you said, hey, I want to upgrade the brain in my universe, you would be able to do that just by swapping out the Ollama brain, and it would take the training data that's applied through currently OpenClaw, but that's also not locked down. We can go through a bunch of different methodologies to do that. But basically that's that training data is then strapped down on that model. And so you can try it with a bunch of different models as they all start to emerge. We're developing it right now on Gemma 4 just because it's a very impressively smart and fast platform. And B, it's just, yeah, it's widely available, and it's the kind of the apex of what we're on right now. But again, it's all modular, so it'll all be swapped out. In the game engine, You will, if you're communicating through to the AI, you normally do it through the Discord. But if you wanted to do it in the game, you would have a point where in the verse gate you'll have a button that you can push that will let you talk, and when you talk, it will take that using a Whisper AI local model inside of the game engine on your client. It will transverse that to text. It will shoot that text into the AI model on the headless server, and so you'll also be able to talk to the AI through the game talk point as well. And then let's see. Yeah, it's just going through some of the things about crunches. So for generative AI, what it's going through here in this little thing is that crunch at the node level, right, with a little 8 gig GPU, is sitting there connected to an entire verse that it can control almost every element of. So what it's saying here is that in the same generative CPU cycles that a cloud model takes to and make one picture dot by dot, Crunch can create the entire world that picture needs to be created in, probably about in the same time frame. And again, it's running on a local 8 gig consumer GPU, and that's less than, you can find those for less than $200. And then you have massive cloud server farms that are doing the other side of that, and then yeah. User agency is it's saying, well, you can prompt to the world, which is correct. And as Crunch develops more and more and more pervasiveness throughout the DCF engine, she'll be able to produce more and more different changes in the game itself, as if she was a live developer on your own game in your own verse. So, anyway.
Life's a twisted freeway ride here in Foxtown, crashing vans and chicken heist. It's a beat.
All right, so to give an update on the Tailverse here, I wanted to just mention that we are getting very close to putting the map together. That will be the Tailverse map. It'll be kind of a parkour fun map. And our characters, Fiasco Fox and Ruckus Rabbit, and all the different Nickel Nine Claw will all be coming back in the DCF verse next. And so then from there, we'll start to finish out production of the first album of the Tailverse, the Tail Tapes, which have a couple more songs that we need to get done videos for, and then we'll move on to the next project with the Tailverse. So the Verheidsverse is we just built this studio here in DCF, and this is where we will host the show out of. And basically, we'll be doing different shows in the future, but we're going to start focusing on bringing in guests to interview on those shows, and we'll go from there. The Fangverse, I still hate showing this one because it has so little stuff on there, and there's actually so much to it. So this is the Vampire Verse. This one is going to be more about acting and expressing yourself, which ties into the DCF Expression Project, which is the next core project that's in line after the Mutable is placed in. So for the Tailverse, we have the Mutable project, and then Expression will allow for a lot of different things, but the Fangverse is definitely going to use Expression, because Fangverse is more about vampire roleplay than it is about actual like gameplay. There will be a gameplay element to it, but that's kind of a secondary in the Fangverse. So that's what's going on with the Fangverse. We hope to have more and more of it ready as we go along. The metahuman vampires that we've designed for it so far have been super cool. So can't wait to see those get out in the wild. All right, so Water Rat Cove. Okay, so this game or this is a verse that we are transferring into DCF. So this one's working a little different, like the Tail verse. This one has a backstory. So Water Rat Cove actually started in Atlas, and then actually recently we moved to the Windrose demo, and now Windrose Early Access is coming out later tonight or later tomorrow. Um, and um, and DCF also has Water Rat Cove kind of in a different stage. So what's going to happen with this is the Ratverse is going to take Water Rat Cove, the build of the city, and that one will move into DCF now. And eventually we'll have metahuman pirates that you'll be able to act with and do. We're going to try to film a sitcom, a pirate sitcom in it. And then for my own play, I'm going to be playing Windrose Early Access, and that I'll be exploring Lark Water Rat's story, and so that's kind of so it'll work as that the Grandma Water Rat was in Atlas, then you have Lark Water Rat in Windrose, and then Aura Water Rat, which is Lark's daughter, in Water Rat Cove, which is in DCF. So all three is part of a generational family of pirates, and that's how that's going to work. And that allows me to relax and play Windrose and really enjoy it. I really enjoyed the demo, so I'm really hoping to enjoy the early access as well. As for the other verses, like the CTM drag racing verse, there's a couple other people that have started the verse here and there and then kind of left it. So we'll see if there's any more that pop up. But as they pop up more and more, that will drive different aspects of different play models and things like that forward in the player model. Um, but we're really close now to getting the AI all connected and everything kind of coming up and online. So now, when you go to the actual verse channels like the Tailverse or the Water Rat Cove, eventually there'll be an AI in there that will be the AI that lives in the verse that you can come visit in DCF. Well, I think that pretty much concludes it. I can't think of anything else in it that needs more explaining. But yeah, I just wanted to come on and kind of give an update of where we are as a technology whole. I think that in the next day or two, I will be kind of going silent with Windrose, and I'll probably be just kind of enjoying myself for a little while, and then I'll kind of come back to the DCF deployments. But the new update should be coming out very soon. And when that update comes out, that's going to open up a lot of avenues. And then after that, it'll kind of compound and compound and compound. And it'll start going really fast, I think. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to kind of getting to the other side of this bridge build where I've been building two ends of things. And now it's finally kind of connecting. But now, the AIs are coming up on Discord and they're also playing the games, and it's been really interesting this last couple weeks of development because we're really starting to break through on different levels. So as it all kind of comes together, hopefully it all work very well, and we'll move forward with it, and hopefully lots of people will build verses and do really cool things there.